refused to take my cousin to a doctor. Liam's tooth started bothering him right after his 12th birthday in late September. We were at their house for the party when he mentioned it hurt to chew the cake. Gerald told him to rinse with salt water and stop complaining because people lived for thousands of years without dentists. Diane suggested maybe they could get it checked just in case, but Gerald shut her down immediately, saying dentists were just scam artists who drilled holes in perfectly good teeth to make money. He launched into his usual speech about natural healing and how the body fixes itself if you give it time and proper nutrition. Liam nodded along like he always did when his dad got going on one of his theories about modern medicine being a conspiracy. My mom tried to suggest that tooth pain could indicate infection, but Gerald cut her off, saying his sister didn't understand biology the way he did from all his research. The party continued and Liam ate ice cream on the other side of his mouth. 2 days later, Diane called my mom asking if she had any natural remedies for tooth pain because Liam was still hurting. Mom suggested clove oil temporarily, but insisted they needed to see a dentist soon because tooth infections could spread. I could hear Diane's voice through the phone saying Gerald wouldn't allow it and she didn't know what to do. Mom offered to pay for the dentist herself, but Diane said that would just cause a huge fight with Gerald and make everything worse. She thanked Mom for the advice and hung up, promising to try the clove oil. I asked Mom why Diane couldn't just take Liam to the dentist without telling Gerald, but Mom explained that Gerald controlled all the money and the car, and he'd lose his mind if Diane went behind his back. She said their marriage was complicated, and we needed to respect their boundaries, even when we disagreed with their choices. The following week at school, I saw Liam in the cafeteria and his face looked swollen on one side. I sat down next to him and asked if his tooth was better, and he said no, but his dad ordered some special herbal supplements online that were supposed to heal infections naturally. He showed me a bottle of capsules with a label that looked homemade and said he had to take 6 a day. I asked what was in them, and he shrugged, saying something about golden seal and echinacea and other herbs his dad researched. He couldn't eat solid food, so he had a protein shake his mom made. His left cheek was puffy and red, and when he talked, I could see he was keeping his jaw stiff, like moving it hurt too much. I told him he should really see a dentist, and he got defensive, saying his dad knew what he was doing and conventional medicine was poison. I backed off because Liam could get sensitive about his dad's beliefs, and I didn't want to fight. By the end of that week, Diane called my mom again, and this time she was crying. Liam's face was so swollen he couldn't open his left eye properly, and he had a fever. Gerald insisted it was just the body fighting the infection, and the herbs needed more time to work. He'd started making Liam do oil pulling with coconut oil for 20 minutes 3 times a day. Diane begged Mom to talk to Gerald, but Mom said he wouldn't listen to her. Instead, Mom called our family doctor and explained the situation, asking what could happen if a tooth infection went untreated. The doctor said infections could spread to the jawbone, the sinuses, even the brain in severe cases. He said a child with facial swelling and fever from a tooth abscess needed antibiotics immediately and possibly emergency dental surgery. Mom asked if there was any way to force treatment, and the doctor said unless someone reported medical neglect to child services, there wasn't much he could do. Mom hung up and stared at her phone for a long time before calling Diane back. The conversation between Mom and Diane lasted almost an hour. Mom told her what the doctor said about the dangers and begged her to take Liam to the emergency room. Diane kept saying she couldn't go against Gerald and that he'd be furious if she defied him. Mom asked if Diane was more afraid of Gerald than of Liam dying, and Diane started crying harder. She said Gerald had convinced her that doctors would pump Liam full of unnecessary antibiotics that would ruin his immune system and probably try to pull the tooth when it could heal naturally. Mom told her that was insane and Gerald's conspiracy theories were going to kill their son. Diane said she'd try talking to Gerald again and hung up. That night, Mom stayed up late researching whether she could call CPS about the situation, but she worried it would destroy her relationship with her brother and might not even result in Liam getting treatment if Gerald could convince the caseworkers he was following alternative medicine protocols. I went to school Monday and Liam wasn't there. He wasn't there Thursday or Friday either. His friends said he'd been out sick all week. I texted him asking if he was okay and got back a message saying his dad took his phone away so he could focus on healing without electronic interference. The text came from Diane's number. I showed my mom and she immediately tried calling but nobody answered. She drove to their house that evening and Gerald answered the door blocking the entrance. He said Liam was resting and couldn't have visitors because he needed quiet to heal. Mom demanded to see him and Gerald refused, saying she was being hysterical. Mom tried to push past him and Gerald physically blocked her, asking if she was going to assault him on his own property. That's when things got out of